When you think of humanity's first, greatest inventions, the wheel probably rolls right to the top of your list, right? It seems so fundamental, so obvious. But what if I told you the story of the wheel is packed with surprising twists and turns? Let's dive in. You see, the central mystery of the wheel is this. For being one of our most foundational inventions, it showed up incredibly late to the party. We're talking thousands and thousands of years after humans had already achieved some truly mind-blowing things. And this timeline, wow, it really puts it all into perspective. For millennia, our ancestors were master potters. They literally invented agriculture. They were weaving intricate cloth. They were building complex societies and doing incredible things, all without the humble wheel. So what was the holdup? Well, the answer is that the wheel isn't obvious at all, not even a little bit. Think about it. A spear might be inspired by a sharp stick, a basket by woven branches. But there is absolutely nothing in the natural world that looks or acts like a wheel and axle. You can't copy it from nature. It has to be conceived entirely in the mind. It's a purely abstract geometric solution to a very real physical problem. And that problem the wheel was born to solve? It's one of the most basic forces in physics, friction. Trying to move heavy stuff across the ground by dragging it takes a ridiculous amount of effort, all because of that resistance. The wheel was basically humanity's most elegant hack to get around this fundamental force. So, how did our ancestors get there? Well, the whole thought process probably happened in stages. You start by dragging things on a sledge. That's a bit better, but still, tons of friction. Then comes a brilliant idea. Let's put logs underneath to act as rollers. A huge step forward. But it's got a major flaw. You have to keep picking up the logs from the back and moving them to the front. The real breakthrough, the genius moment, was asking the question, wait a minute, what if the roller stayed with the object? And this right here is the crucial point. The invention wasn't just the round thing. No way. It was a sophisticated system of 3 different parts, all working in perfect harmony. You've got the wheel itself, the axle connecting them, and the bearing that lets it all spin smoothly. This is a perfect early example of systems thinking, creating something where the whole is so much greater than the sum of its parts. And we actually have tangible proof of this ancient ingenuity. This wheel, discovered in the marshes of Slovenia, is over 5,000 years old. It's made of ash and oak, and it's a direct physical connection to the moment that abstract idea became a reality. But as archaeologists pieced the story together, they found another wild twist. The wheel's journey might not have started on a cart at all. Yep, here's another twist for you. The wheel's first big killer app probably had nothing to do with getting from point A to point B. Its first job was likely creative, not logistical. The evidence suggests the potter's wheel actually came first. It was a horizontal spinning disc used to shape clay with perfect symmetry. This shows us something so cool. Sometimes the most important inventions don't come from obvious needs like, we need to move stuff. They come from creative work, from an artist just wanting to make a more perfect pot. It was only later that this principle of rotation was adapted for transport. And get this, the earliest hint we have of that big leap to transportation comes from, you guessed it, another piece of pottery. The Bronitz's pot, found in Poland, has this clear drawing of a 4-wheeled wagon on it, showing that by about 3500 BCE, the idea had been successfully moved over to logistics. And once the wheel was put on carts and chariots, it didn't just change transportation. It began to fundamentally reshape human civilization itself. The ripple effect was just massive. The impact was almost immediate. Suddenly, you could move way more goods, causing trade networks to just explode. Warfare was completely transformed. Swift chariots became the ancient world's version of a tank. Cities could now grow far away from their local food supply, and all of this created new jobs, traders, cart owners, engineers, and with them, entirely new social classes. But this is where it gets even more interesting. You see, the best inventions don't just solve one problem. They create new ones. A wheeled cart is great, but it works a whole lot better on a smooth surface. So the invention of the wheel immediately created the need for another invention, roads. And of course, roads don't just build themselves, and they definitely don't last forever without some TLC. This in turn created the need for organized systems of maintenance to keep these new arteries of commerce open for business. And that maintenance? It required something even more profound: complex social organization. It demanded governments and taxes and whole new professions in engineering. This is a perfect example of what we call cascading design, how one single simple machine can ripple outwards, forcing the development of entire social structures.
Now, it's really important to add a critical counterpoint here. While the wheel was totally transformative for many societies, it's not the ultimate measuring stick of advancement. For example, cultures in the Americas thrived for thousands of years without it, partly because they didn't have large domestic animals to pull wheeled vehicles. Technology just isn't the only metric for success. So with all that context, what can the story of the wheel teach us about innovation and design today? Well, it turns out this 5,500-year-old invention gives us a pretty powerful blueprint.
Let's break it down into 4 timeless lessons. First, real innovation often comes from abstract thinking, not just copying what you see. Second, success lies in systems thinking, understanding how all the pieces have to work together. Third, great design gives you a mechanical advantage. It lets us work smarter, not harder. And finally, the very best inventions become platforms that create even more innovation. That cascading design we just talked about.
And that's exactly what happened. The core idea of the wheel became a platform for countless other world-changing inventions. That rotational movement was harnessed in water wheels and windmills to generate power, in gears and pulleys to multiply force, and in the spinning wheel to revolutionize how we make clothes. And this brings us back to that awesome core principle of mechanical advantage. The magic happens in the size difference between the wheel and the axle. A small, easy push on the outside of the big wheel turns into a much more powerful turning force right at the center. It is literally the definition of working smarter, not harder. And this ancient principle is still at work all around you every single day. Just think about rolling your office chair. That tiny bit of effort you use to move your entire body across the room, that's a modern demonstration of the exact same design power that was harnessed thousands of years ago. When you really step back, the legacy of the wheel is just profound. It goes so much further than just moving objects. It was an invention that fundamentally changed how human beings organized their societies, structured their economies, and even how they thought about what was possible. Just look at this comparison. It's night and day. Before the wheel, society was local. You had to build your settlements near your resources, and your economy basically operated on a walking distance scale. After the wheel, cities could be sustained from far away. Long-distance trade became the engine of empires, and a whole new world of jobs opened up. It literally redrew the map of human civilization. Which brings us to a final thought. The story of the wheel is a powerful reminder that an idea doesn't have to be complicated to be revolutionary. A circle, an axle, and a flash of insight changed the course of history. So it kind of begs the question, doesn't it? What seemingly simple, foundational idea are we completely overlooking right now?